Today on Rappler, the Philippines says goodbye to Pope Francis. Terrorism and regional conflicts to dominate the World Economic Forum in Davos. And Thailand may soon recognize a third gender. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. This is Rappler's Wrap for the Day, a list of the most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. Pope Francis leaves the Philippines Monday morning after a 5-day visit. Crowds again gathered to see the Pope Monday morning, this time to say goodbye. Natasha Gutierrez filed this video blog.
And so it ends. After 5 days of non-stop events with Pope Francis, the Philippines finally bids farewell to the beloved pontiff.
Pope Francis departs Manila a little after 10 a.m. from Villamor Air Base. President Benigno Aquino III, church leaders and cabinet members send him off, as well as throngs of Filipinos who line the streets to say goodbye and get a final glimpse of the Pope. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle asks Filipinos after the visit to relish the Pope's trip, especially the central theme of serving the poor. He says the people must allow the Pope's message to deepen and influence their actions. He also says the visit is not only for Christians, but for all Filipinos.
But we need to allow that to deepen. So let us spend time reflecting on it, the spiritual message, and also the missionary message. The centrality of loving the poor, the centrality of appreciating children who are helpless.
Communications Secretary Sonny Coloma also thanks the public for their cooperation in making the trip a huge success.
Paul responded from the heart, and they responded with faith.
Tagle agrees, saying the Philippines is able to show the world that communication and collaboration is possible, adding Vatican officials praised the hospitality of the Filipino people.
The Pope returns to Rome after a successful visit, but its fruitfulness depends on whether government officials, church leaders, and Filipinos will take to heart his messages on corruption, poverty, and service. As Pope Francis departs, pilgrims say he leaves behind a Philippines stronger in faith and in hope. Natasha Gutierrez, Rappler, Manila.
Largely seen as a huge success, the Pope's visit is marred by the death of a volunteer in Leyte. 27-year-old Cristel Padasas died when a scaffolding collapsed on her after the Pope said Mass at the airport. In a press conference Sunday, Manila Archbishop Luis Antonio Cardinal Tagle said the Pope met with the grieving father.
Yes, of course, the Holy Father was searching for words. How do you console with words a father who just lost an only child? You know? What struck the Holy Father was the statement of the father of Cristel. First, he said he felt devastated when the news reached him. And he even asked God, "No, I have only one child, and why is she taken away from me?" But then it surprised the Holy Father when this grieving father said, "I have accepted this. I have resigned to the fact that my daughter is no longer with me. I rejoice that she died serving other people, especially serving this visit of the Holy Father. It's a meaningful death. It is not just a loss of life. So I'm happy now." And then he said something. He said, "I had already decided to stay home because I know crowds would prevent me from coming close to the Holy Father." So he said, knowing the schedule of the papal visit, that he had decided early on that he would stay home and just watch everything on television. Then he said, then my daughter died. She arranged this meeting with the Holy Father.
Tagle also addressed questions from the media about the Pope's worldview. Francis on Friday warned Filipinos against what he called ideological colonization that threatens the family with efforts to, quote, redefine marriage. The statement is seen as a condemnation of same-sex marriage. In contrast, Rolling Stone magazine once called his openness to gays and divorcees and moves to reform the church bureaucracy, quote, a gentle revolution. I asked whether the Pope is a conservative or a liberal. Tagle said, the Pope transcends labels.
I mean, a pope has no liberty to invent his own teaching. So there is an element of reception from the past. And the Pope has said that a number of times, I am a son, a child of the church. But he's attentive to the changes in society, and his desire is to see how the depths of the Christian faith, the tradition, if you want to call it that, the tradition, could be further explored. Somebody asked me, said, point blank, now, is he a conservative or a liberal? I said, he is what he is. And then the journalist...
Recent attacks in France and the conflicts in Iraq and Ukraine will dominate the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. On Tuesday, at least 2,500 world leaders will gather at the annual event, including French President François Hollande, Belgian Prime Minister Charles Michel, and German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Following the Paris attacks, leaders are expected to discuss the threat posed by young extremists returning to Europe after fighting with ISIS and al-qaeda-linked groups. Another conflict likely to be raised is Ukraine's battle against a pro-Russian rebellion. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation, or OIC, an alliance of 57 Muslim nation-states, accuses Charlie Hebdo of ridiculing the most revered personality of Islam. But the group, which sees itself as the collective voice of Muslims, urges the world's more than 1.5 billion Muslims to, in their words, continue to exercise restraint. The OIC says the new cartoon is an intolerant, disrespectful, and manifest expression of hatred as well as insensitivity towards Muslims. Thailand, which is drafting a new constitution, may soon recognize a third gender. CNN reports Constitution Drafting Committee spokesperson Kamnun Sitisamam says it is a human right if you want to have a sex change or lead a life of a different gender. Third gender means an individual does not have to identify as either male or female and gives that person a right to self-identify. Gender reassignment surgery is widely available in Thailand. A British-built space probe that disappeared more than a decade ago has been found on Mars, ending the mystery of what happened to the mission. The lost lander is found through satellite images taken by NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. The probe detached from Mars Express on December 26 and was never heard from again. For those on desktop, click on the links on your screen. You can also click on the tabs below to go to a story in the video. And for those on smartphones and tablets, the links can be found below the video. Rappler has a user engagement model where every story has a mood meter that gives you 8 emotions to choose from. If you look at the mood navigator in the middle of the front page today, you see the story that's gotten the most number of votes in the last 24 hours. Well, first of all, you see that you actually have Pope Francis dominating the mood navigator. Most number of votes goes to what I don't understand about Pope Francis. 18% inspired, 43% don't care. Bringing out the mood of the day, today, most people don't care. Well, that is the wrap for today, Monday, January 19th. Visit Rappler.com for the latest news here and around the world. Check out our other shows, Tech Wrap and Talk Thursday. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.